Good day. This is Philip Koerper. This is the Philip Koerper Show. This is a great conservative podcast, which is uplifting. And this is episode 40. We've hit 40, September 26, 2018. The news of the day here is Rachel Mitchell. She's going to be the prosecutor to question Kavanagh and Blasey Ford if she shows up. Okay, so Chuck Grassley has announced that Rachel Mitchell is going to be the person who will ask the questions for the GOP senators. What they'll do is they'll give their time to her. They'll yield I think 5 minutes. They each get 5 minutes. And then she will be able to question Christy Blasey Ford and Brett Kavanaugh. Senate Democrats will still be able to ask their own questions of Ford and Kavanaugh, who is also set to testify on Thursday. And some had said they intended to do so. This is from a Fox News article. Richard Blumenthal, a member of the Judiciary Committee and former prosecutor, criticized Republicans for hiding from their roles as members of the Judiciary Committee and said he would not concede or cede his role as a senator, saying he wants the hearing to be a safe, comfortable, and dignified environment. Oh, it's got to be a very safe space, okay? We don't want too much disagreement going on here. And then he said, instead of grandstanding and giving senators an opportunity to launch the presidential campaigns. Democrat Blumenthal doesn't want any grandstanding. Okay. Okay. I got a little confused there. Okay. Okay, I'm sorry. I got a little carried away. Chuck Grassley said, the goal is to depoliticize the process, and he doesn't want any grandstanding. Okay, good. I was confused because the Democrats, that's all they've been doing is interrupting and grandstanding. Okay, from the very beginning, Chuck Grassley started these hearings, who knows ago. This has been going on since like 1942. Okay, and Carmela Harris or someone immediately interrupted him and said, I have a point of order, Mr. Chairman, point of order. So, good grief. This has been #resist the whole time, okay? And the Republicans have been so nice. They're just trying to be, come on, please. We want to get this done. So of course, the Democrats for Ford, her attorneys, they didn't want any kind of fee, they didn't want anyone else to be able to interview Blasey Ford. Oh no, they had to be the Republican, the old white male GOP dudes, okay, who have no experience with prosecution like this, okay. So no. They want the photo ops of the old white men, asking Blasey Ford these very uncomfortable questions. Okay. And so she doesn't have her little safe space. So we've got this lady and she is going to be the one. Okay, this is Wednesday, so this is tomorrow supposedly. I still don't think that Blasey Ford's going to show up. But, who knows? Who knows? I get surprised sometimes. Grassley's saying he's not going to silence Ford. He's gonna proceed with this vote. Okay, he's going to give her a chance to tell her story. Okay, so Blasey Ford's going to get her chance. I guess she's driven all the way from California. I guess she's afraid of airplanes, or I don't know what the rumors are with that. I don't know why this has taken so long. We've been trying to get her to testify for 2 to 3 weeks now. Who knows? I'm losing track of time with this. Senator Feinstein, Die-Fi, though, she's going to weigh in. And listen to this tweet. This is just incredible. This was last night. She said for Republicans to schedule a Friday vote on Kavanaugh today, 2 days before Dr. Blasey Ford has had a chance to tell her story, is outrageous. First, Republicans demand Dr. Blasey Ford testify immediately. Now they don't even need to hear her before they move ahead with a vote. I mean, this is just amazing. Di-Fi had this letter on July 30th. Okay, what is it? It's September 26th. Okay, and Di-Fi is like, what's the rush? What's the rush? This is so obvious. Even the Democrats, I mean, some of them are trying to say, well, Di-Fi was trying to keep her anonymity. No, this is an 11th hour thing. The Anita Hill was done in 1991 exactly the same way. Exactly the same way. So this is just, Di-Fi hinted of it, but didn't reveal anything. Anyhow, I've got an article in the American Spectator that really sums this up really good. But this is hilarious. I tweeted on that. I said, how many Democrat senators have already decided to vote no before this process ever began? Did you find that outrageous? So Di-Fi is really upset because Grassley said that on Friday we're going to vote. We're going to vote on Kavanaugh. We're going to give a day for Blasey Ford to say her stuff. We've been waiting forever. Remember, Grassley said it had to be Monday. Oh, no, but then her attorney said Thursday. Okay, so what do we get? It's Thursday. I mean, the GOP is always caving into these people. And so they get their wish, but they're not going to get, we're going to have a female attorney question her. Oh, yeah. Okay, not the OW, old white men, the OWMs. Okay, no OWMs questioning her. No, we're going to have our female do it because, they're going to play the gender card on us. I mean, we know what's going to happen here. It's obvious the Ford attorneys are being so blatant in their request. It's just really unbelievable. We're going to go over that more here in just a second. But this is hilarious. Oh, I do. There's some really funny tweets about this on Dianne Feinstein. I mean, but this was really, it's really just super outrageous that she is complaining about what is the rush, okay, where she releases this, at the 11th hour, okay? So we're out of time, okay? We've been going on and on forever. Feinstein cannot guarantee that Kavanaugh's accuser will show as Ford bristles over a role of female attorney. Oh no, Blasey Ford could be intimidated by this other female. Okay, this is, really, if you make an accusation as severe as Blasey Ford has done here, I mean, you got to stand up and you're going to have to really tell your story, okay? So far she has no credibility. And her witnesses, even her best friend, deny even knowing who Brett Kavanaugh is, okay? So she has got nothing will back up her story. I really want, this is kind of a long piece, but I just love this piece from the American Spectator. This is John C. Woolstetter, GOP nominees, Fords in their future. This is a really good thing, and it really sums up a lot what's going on. First of all, he tackles, this is for Merrick Garland, okay? The Republicans, that was outrageous how Mitch McConnell, when Obama was president and Scalia passed away, that we didn't push through Merrick Garland, okay? They are just like, this one's for Merrick, okay? This is why, the Democrats have decided even before, it was like fill in the blank. They were going to resist and vote no on anyone that Trump nominated. That's one reason why all this committee stuff is so bogus. You know, almost all of the Democrat senators have just already, before even Trump nominated Brett Kavanaugh, they were going to vote no. You know, the only three that I know about are the Democrats who are in heavily red states. Indiana, West Virginia, and I think, I can't remember the third one. I keep forgetting where she is. I can't want to say Minnesota, but that's not that's not that red of a state. It's someone else. And so that's Joe Manchin, Joe Donnelly, and some other, a female senator, I can't remember. But those three voted for Neil Gorsuch. So really, if we get those three votes, then we can lose a few people like Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski or even weird Jeff Flaky Flake. But anyhow, so this Merrick Garland thing, I love this piece. He says, he talks about, he noticed that Supreme Court nominees have been denied a vote many times. Two Democrat Senate Judicial Committee chairmen, Joe Biden in June 1992 and Chuck Schumer in January 2007, publicly warned sitting GOP presidents, Bush 41 and Bush 43, that no GOP nominee would be confirmed to a Supreme seat until after the next presidential election. Okay, so this kind of delay tactic that Mitch McConnell did, okay, is nothing new. Okay, nothing new at all, and not too out of the ordinary. This scholar Adam White writes that the Senate has no obligation to vote on any presidential judicial nominee, and all presidents have nominated 160 people to the Supreme Court, of which 36, 22%, 22.5% were not confirmed. Okay, that's almost a quarter of them not confirmed, with 25 of those not even getting a vote. So 70% of those people who are not confirmed didn't get a vote. Okay, so I mean, it's like Merrick Garland. He didn't get a vote either. Okay, no, they never did vote on Merrick Garland. He was like dead. I mean, that nominee didn't. Okay, so that's part of the 36 out of the 160. Merrick Garland's in there. The 124 confirmations included 12 justices confirmed twice. Okay, so anyhow, so this is not something unusual. 22.5% of all the nominees have not made it. Okay, and 70% of them never even got a vote. Someone like Merrick Garland. So this is not something that, you know, Mitch McConnell was a complete nutso on this. There's precedent here. This has happened before. Okay, so this delay, there's a complete delay in getting the justices through. 87 justices were nominated between 1789 and 1950. And the time from nomination to Senate voted averaged just over 11 days. It used to take just 11 days. Good grief, it's taken 11 days to get Blasey Ford from California to the East Coast. If she's even here, we're not quite sure. From 51 to 1975, the average confirmation process increased more than 50 days. Between 1976 and the present, it's now 75 days. It actually goes up to 90 days if you count Merrick Garland in there. Democrats have opposed Brett Kavanaugh both times that he has been considered for judgeship. When he was nominated to the D.C. Circuit Court in 2003, his confirmation battle lasted 1,036 days. There were no allegations of sexual misconduct that could have caused that delay. Kavanaugh's Circuit Court confirmation battle was the seventh longest of the 366 that occurred from the beginning of Carter's administration through the end of Obama's. Bill Clinton's Circuit Court confirmation averaged 231 days, W's 362, and Obama's 278 days. Whoa, that's almost a year. Garland was, to be sure, well qualified, but his being denied a vote was well within the history of how the Senate has treated Supreme Court nominees. So this is interesting. Next, let's consider these ugly facts with this Kavanaugh catastrophe, none of which apply to Garland's nomination. The nominee and his family have been spared character assassination, late hit politics, die-fi. B, Going public with toxic allegations by partisan accusers. They're partisan. C, remember Blasey Ford would protest with pink hats. Compromising the integrity of senatorial advice and consent. And D, the impact of unbridled political viciousness on American society. So Di-Fi did this late hit politics. Okay, I brought that up. And so she sprung the trap on September 11th. Okay, that was 43 days after she got the letter from Christine Ford. Worse, after the old saw about the hypocrite who murders his parents and pleads the court for mercy due to being an orphan, Democrats insisted on postponing the nomination vote so that the FBI can conduct a background check on Ford's allegation. Worse, Di-Fi concealed from the GOP members, including Charles Grassley, the full contents of the letter Ford wrote. We still don't have that letter. Okay, we don't have the original letter that Ford wrote. Di-Fi just took a few pieces out of that letter. Okay, Charles Grassley has been trying to get that letter, but Di-Fi won't give it to him. Di-Fi is even had doubts about Ford's veracity. She has said publicly she doesn't know if these allegations are true. And yet she sat on it. She didn't, okay. So just made public is Feinstein's September 20th letter to Grassley, okay. And this letter asserts the assault took place in Maryland's suburban home in the early 1980s. We don't know what year. There were 4 others beside Ford present. Kavanagh and his friend, Mark Judge, both highly inebriated, forced her into an upstairs bedroom. When Kavanagh put his hand over her mouth to silence her, she feared inadvertent death. Kavanagh and Judge both wrestled with her until they both fell off laughing. Then the 2 males scuffled on the floor. Ford rushed out and locked herself in a hallway bathroom. She then ran out of the house and ran home. Worst of all is that these steps were taken to bolster Ford's position, most notably by scrubbing her social media accounts. This is really fascinating. This scrubbing could not possibly have been done by the user Ford alone from her devices, even with expert assistance. It surely required cooperation by the providers, Google, Facebook, Twitter, etc. Top management would have to issue orders instructing senior network administrators to wipe clean the company's own copies of Ford's postings. This masked the full extent of the accuser's hyper-partisan leanings, largely eliminating attacks on her credibility due to her partisan motives. It is interesting, the media only has one picture of Blasey Ford. Just one picture. That is weird. She has scrubbed the internet very good of any picture. This is really weird. Okay, it's really fascinating. Okay, reading on, which puts Di-Fi in the unflattering light of having declined to seek an FBI investigation despite her having doubts about the accuser's tale. She could easily have gone to Grassley in confidence and shown him the letter. Grassley sure would have okayed asking the FBI to conduct a brief supplemental background check. Alan Dershowitz has said that such a check would only take a few days, having been interviewed by the FBI multiple times. But then Joe Biden in 1991 during the Clarence Thomas hearings, lecturing one and all about the FBI investigation, said Joe, the FBI does not reach conclusions and recommendations. They simply gather data. The Senate assesses the product, but confirmation background checks still could be useful. No, Di-Fi didn't do that. What she did is she sprung a Me Too trap at 5 minutes to midnight. By doing so, Di-Fi forced the accuser to go public to bolster her credibility. Had Di-Fi gone FBI in August instead of rogue in September, the accuser might have been spared exposure, as likely the FBI would have found insufficient corroboration to pursue further. This is just what the FBI did with the Anita Hill investigation. Nothing credible. But one late hit proved not enough. Enter the New Yorker, okay, the Me Too journalist Ronan Farrow, whose articles were instrumental in bringing down Harvey Weinstein. Farrow tried for a hat trick and came up with his own goal, a new accuser. Okay, this is Deborah Ramirez, who asserts that Brett Kavanaugh shoved his privates in her face at a Yale frat party. And this author says this is like an X-rated vision of the Animal House. And he even marks that 4 minutes 3 seconds. After in this video of the Animal House movie. After 6 days of recovering memory, Ramirez, who admits she was so drunk that she was on the floor, foggy and slurring her words, could point to no eyewitnesses, nor does anyone she named recall her telling about the incident at the time. The New York Times, not exactly a right-wing rag, could not find a single witness after a week in which the Times conducted several dozen interviews. Okay, no evidence. So anyhow, this goes on. I think you're getting the point here. That Ford, what she said is Blasey Ford claimed that sometime in the 1980s, somewhere in Montgomery County, a county with a population of about 1 million, Brett Kavanaugh committed sexual assault. Blasey Ford never told anyone about this event until at least 3 decades later. Her husband told the Washington Post that Blasey Ford told a version of the story for the first time in couples counseling in 2012, when she voiced concern that Kavanaugh, then a federal judge, might one day be nominated to the Supreme Court. He was widely reported at the time to be Romney's top choice. So the Washington Post has to fudge Blasey Ford's story to explain away a major discrepancy between the 2012 the rapist notes and the letter being concealed by the Senate Democrats. In the 2012 version, there were 4 assailants versus 2 in the letter. The Post claimed the therapist mistook that there were 4 boys at the party for 4 boys being in the room, except the Post knew but refused to inform their reader that in the more recent version of the tale, there were only 3 boys at the party and a girl, Leland Kaiser. By Sunday, the 3 other alleged partygoers had all sent the committee statements under penalty of perjury, denying any recollection. And then Kaiser, she doesn't even know Brett Kavanaugh and said she had no recollection of ever being at a party or gathering where it was present with or without Dr. Ford. Okay, this is one of Blasey Ford's best friends. So all 4 of the people that she say were witnesses deny the story, including one is Brett Kavanaugh. Okay, so are we going to believe Ford or the therapist? So she's writing this down. Okay, duh. Okay, and then there's an account from this blogger who says that, Ford was quite the party animal. Okay, but anyhow, you've got this advice and consent from the Senate, and so this has just turned into a complete spectacle. Okay, and the Ford lawyers wanted a female. Did not want a female. They didn't say we don't want a female to question Ford on the Republican side of the aisle. No, they just said that they didn't want any other attorneys to question her. And then they also said that they wanted Brett Kavanaugh to go first. Okay, that is ridiculous. In no imaginable legal, legislative, or administrative forum does the accused go first. The accused cannot otherwise reply to the specific allegations by the accuser. Instead, the accuser could make adjustments to her story based upon the accused's prior testimony. This is, as Alan Dershowitz has observed, effectively nullifies the Sixth Amendment Confrontation Clause. Her other request is that there'll be additional witnesses. Volunteering other witnesses a request that they can turn down or allow without traducing its institutional authority. Here, the request is probably denied due to the delay caused by the Democratic concealment of the charges. Too bad. You guys we had time to do all this. Too bad. You guys blew it. Di-Fi is going to spring this at the 11th hour. This author, he also talks about Mazie Hirono, this crazy senator from Hawaii, okay, and she says, just shut up and step up, okay. And to complete her own identity politics trifecta, she would deny Kavanagh the presumption of innocence because he disagrees with Roe v. Wade. Okay. Oh, of course, she did not back the woman who accused Hawaii's war hero senator, the late Daniel Inouye, of sexual assault. Oh, no, she didn't believe that woman. No, that was not a Me Too thing. No, her true mantra apparently is that Democrat women must be believed. Okay, not Republicans. Okay, only Democrats. So anyhow, this is a great article. I encourage you guys to read it if you have time. John C. Wohlstetler from the American Spectator. So anyhow, we're going to see what happens. I received a text here just recently, and I have a leftist friend a little bit on the left, and he's like, oh man, it looks like Kavanaugh's dead. Why can't they just go after someone else? Okay. And I said, hey, do you want to bet lunch over this? I think Kavanaugh's going to get nominated, okay? So it's funny. My friend is just reading these headlines, okay, of all of these we've got more corroboration, these people really know. And it's just these people who were at that therapy session in 2012 who heard Blasey Ford go, well, yeah, I was attacked by Brett Kavanaugh, okay? So now her story's true, okay? Because these other people heard something that, who knows, maybe Blasey Ford really does think this happened, but she's got no evidence. There is no evidence. And her story lacks any kind of credibility. So there you have it. We'll see what happens tomorrow. This will be interesting to see. And then I hope the Republicans, if she doesn't show tomorrow, maybe they'll even vote tomorrow, or they're going to vote on Friday. Okay, so good. Let's move forward. Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap this up with a scripture from the Book of Mormon. This is from 1 Nephi, chapter 3. These are great verses of encouragement. This family has left Jerusalem, but they need to go back for these brass plates. This is a lot of the Old Testament is on these brass plates. And this prophet Lehi needs those brass plates. He talks about how important the scriptures are so he could raise his family in righteousness. But going back to Jerusalem is a little bit hairy. And so the other brothers, Lehi had some sons here, and some of these brothers were murmuring. And they said, it's a hard thing in verse 5, which I have required of them. But behold, I have not required of them, but it's a commandment of the Lord. And then Lehi says to his son Nephi, then go, my son, and thou shalt be favored of the Lord, because thou hast not murmured. And it came to pass that I, Nephi, said unto my father, I will go and do the things which the Lord hath commanded. For I know that the Lord giveth no commandments unto the children of men, save he shall prepare a way for them that may accomplish the thing which he commanded them. I love that. That gives me great inspiration to do some of the hard things. I want to do what God wants me to do. That really makes me the most happy, and I feel like I can bless other people that way. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. This is kind of a long podcast today, but I really wanted to cover that in detail. This is the Philip Koerper Show. I'm Philip Koerper, copy 2018. Thank you.